guys, today's video is going to be about affirmations, kind of going back to basics, and when you're picking your affirmations, the best way to structure them, in my opinion and in my experience, what I would recommend, not so much what to avoid, it's more just like a step-by-step guide of wording and structure, length, everything, going over why things do and don't work. So if you're interested in this topic and would like me maybe to do some more back to basics videos, even though I try and make things really easy and you guys do give me that feedback as well, some even more basic advice, like starting from scratch, starting from the beginning of your manifesting journey. If you do want to see those, do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, let me know in the comments as well if there's a video topic I haven't covered yet that you really want to see. And yeah, I'd really appreciate that. I also offer one-on-one coaching. I offer personal help. So if you do have any queries or issues with your own manifesting journey, you can sign up for coaching with me. And that's all in written form at the moment. I don't do any video or, face-to-face coaching. I will probably introduce that at some point. But if you do want, email or DM coaching, just one-on-one help going fully in depth with your issues, then do take a look at my Instagram linked below. It's the LOA coaching one, written right under the coaching section, because I have obviously my own personal Instagram as well. And all the information about what I offer and the pricing is all there. So yeah, now we can get started. I have a few keywords and phrases I want to talk about in this video in my notes here. So if I keep looking down, it's just because I'm going over my notes. But the first point I have written down is to keep it short and concise. That is always the ideal. It's just logical. If you go, oh, I've got a bit too much highlighter on my nose, but you know what? I'm just going to leave it as it is. We're just going to deal with it. I look like someone from Whoville, but whatever. Anyway, I just noticed myself in the viewfinder. As I was saying, short and concise affirmations. It's just logical that your mind is going to be able to absorb any information if it's in a short form, simple, concise words. If you try and memorize a paragraph, whether it's for an exam, a presentation, anything, compared to memorizing one sentence, obviously your mind is able to loop and memorize that much quicker. It's the same with your affirmations. It's going into your subconscious mind. You'll remember it more quickly. After saying it 2 or 3 times, you'll already have memorized your affirmation. And you can loop it quicker. You can say it more often. Within 10 minutes, you'll be able to say it twice as much if in comparison to, a 10, 12 word affirmation. I will discuss this a little further in the video, but short and concise is always ideal if you're able to. If you're not able to, it's totally fine to add in as many words as you need. In one affirmation, I would say up to about 10 or 12 absolute maximum. You really shouldn't be making one sentence longer than that. I have affirmations that are 10 words long and they work. I don't have a problem with them. They take longer to say, so it's a little more effort, but other than that, there's absolutely no issue with them. Next point to keep in mind is to consider adding in very descriptive adjectives. This is how you're going to get your ideal result. If you're looking for a certain email of confirmation, getting hired for a very specific role, you want a really specific salary or raise at work, you want your SP to say really specific words to you, apologize for one incident in your past relationship, then that is how you add in, and in the context of which you should be adding in very descriptive adjectives. For example, told me he's madly in love with me. I received an email yesterday confirming that I am going to this place. You want to add in, although those aren't adjectives, but very descriptive words, or adjectives in such as, my SP, he is so loving and committed to me and attentive, for example. Those are 3 very specific words, rather than just saying, he's my perfect husband, she's my perfect girlfriend. You're adding in really specific wording there. So you're saying exactly what you want. Maybe your SP didn't pay you enough attention. Maybe they were, not as caring or loving in your relationship. So you want them to be more attentive, put more attention on you. Say, what do you need, darling? Can I go get you this? Do you need this? Are you okay? You look a little sad. Like, being attentive. Some people, maybe that's the area in their relationship they want more of. So try and think of descriptive adjectives that you can add in that really reflect your desired outcome. If all you want is to go on a date or just have that perfect relationship, just affirm for that. It's that simple. You don't have to go into detail. But if there's a specific issue you're trying to reverse and create a new outcome for, Maybe they cheated on you and you want to make sure it never happens. You want to see them as that really loyal, committed, honest person. You can use the word honest. They are my perfect, honest partner, boyfriend, wife, whatever. So try and find adjectives that really describe exactly what you want. And this is for me as well. I personally do this. I just find that sometimes my subconscious mind and my conscious mind, when I think of certain phrases, I think of all the things that it could bring me that are not my desired outcome. So, you know, things like, I am so rich. That is a really generic thing to say. And yes, you will become rich, but sometimes I think, no, do you know what? I want to earn that money. I want to win that money in a competition. I want to, you know, I say very specific ways that I get my money. So even though, because then to me, I'm like, I'm eliminating all the issues of potentially winning that money or receiving that money in a bad way. So you can go really general and say things like, I'm so rich, I'm perfect, my life is perfect. You can go general and use blanket affirmations. But personally for me, and maybe for you as well, you can decide this for yourself, it's sometimes better to add in the details so you get your exact desired result. It's because if you go more general, you could attract in and attract that new reality. Not so much attract in, but you know, kind of jump into that quantum reality, that parallel reality where your result exists, but it's not really come about in the way you ideally wanted. So yeah, sometimes especially when it comes to an SP, you might want to get more descriptive and really say exactly what you want. Next point, as I said, I've kind of already touched on this, so I'm not going to go in depth, but it's to be detailed. So yeah, as I said, descriptive adjectives, keywords, key phrases that you're looking for that reflect the emotion and experience, the visuals that you want from your desired reality, desired relationship and situation. Get detailed if there's something really specific you want, if there's a specific time frame. You know, try and add in the details you need that you feel are the exact result you want. Then next, leading on from that, you can also add in 1 or 2 keywords. I would say just 1 per affirmation. You really don't need to go overboard. The main thing is that you're saying the result, so that any extra words don't make much difference. But adding in keywords such as always or constantly will again bring about what you want, because most likely whatever you're trying to manifest, it's going to be something you want constantly, consistently, forever and permanently, right? Like something along those lines. It's not like, oh, SP is going to ask me out on a date just one time and then that's it. No, constantly taking me on dates, always takes me on dates, always asks me out, always, you know, whatever, plans our dates. Whatever the case may be, words like constantly, always, permanently. You can use words like permanently, forever, right now, has always, meaning that it's always been that case since the moment it began until now. So try and add in those kind of key phrases and leading words that have a strong implication, such as right this second, in 1 nanosecond, like any time frame that implies you have it right now in the present moment. And also if it's something you want to happen on a consistent basis, obviously you can add in the word constantly. So as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you can use longer affirmations, and although short and concise is logically going to be easier to loop, probably will manifest a little bit faster just because you're looping it almost, you know, twice as long as a longer affirmation, unless you spend that extra time to match, you know, the longer affirmations to the short ones. But as I said, the benefits of a longer one is you get more detailed. You say exactly what you want and you round it all up in just the 1 affirmation. If you say SP loves me, they will love you, or SP commits to me, SP is committed to me, whatever. Some people want to go super, super short with their affirmations. It's not essential. You don't have to do that. And yes, SP will be committed to you, but if you're not adding in those extra words, you may not get the exact result you want, whereas you're pretty much guaranteeing the exact result you want if you add in specific descriptive words, descriptive adjectives, leading words that imply it always happens. So for me personally, that's just my preference and my advice to you guys. When I get very specific with my affirmations and visuals, I tend to get exactly what I want. So longer does work, but you need a little more time to repeat it possibly. So you need to have a little more willpower and yeah, just motivation to keep going. Because, for example, if you said SP loves me, SP loves me, SP loves me, which I don't recommend doing in such a quick robotic way, but that is quick to repeat, easy, very simple, 3 words, and you know, doesn't take long to say. You could maybe do, you know, like, let's say about 100 times in 10 minutes, maybe even, you know, up to between 100, 200 times in 10 minutes, however quickly you're saying it, whether you like to take breaks in between or not, it's up to you, whatever feels right. So for example, another affirmation that's longer, SP loves me and is fully committed to me. You've added in 3 extra words, and that's not even that long, to be honest. That's like, I think 6 words in total. 7, I think. Wait, SP loves me and is committed to me. Okay, so it's like 7 or 8 words, but we don't have time here to count. It's gonna take a little bit longer, you know? By the time you finished it, you could have said the other one about twice. So yeah, it is gonna take a little longer, but there is no downside to saying it. It's not that, oh, you're gonna wait a year if you do your affirmations too long. You're not. You're gonna get what you want. You just have to put in the effort, put in the time, you know, spend 30 minutes a day repeating that affirmation. However long it, well, maybe up to an hour, however long it takes to get a decent amount of time in where your mind is really focused on it and you're starting to slightly conform in your own mind to that affirmation. That's how long you need daily to repeat it. So yes, you can use longer affirmations and you will get all the details from that affirmation that you want. Because otherwise, if you just said, for example, SP loves me, SP is my boyfriend, you can absolutely say that. They'll be your boyfriend, but that might not resolve the other issues that you've had in your relationship. They might be your boyfriend, but they still might not text you back. They still might not be bothered to plan dates. They still might have bad habits that you wanted to change, but you didn't really affirm for. So if you say my perfect boyfriend always is my perfect boyfriend, those kind of things add even more power because you're creating the exact scenario and result that you want. And another benefit of being more descriptive and very concise, maybe even just by adding in 1 extra word, is that you create better visuals. If you say, SP takes me on romantic dates, guess what? Your mind's going to connect that to a romantic scenario, a romantic day. You're probably still going to get great visuals and great results, but if you add in romantic, if that's what was lacking in your relationship previously, or maybe you've never experienced that and you really want that romantic fairy tale relationship, you can have it, but you need to put those words into your affirmations so you can guarantee the exact type of result that you want, so that it goes perfectly. Perfect dates, perfect boyfriend, you know, all these words are going to give you exactly what you want, whatever your mind connects with that word perfect. And then when it comes to affirming, the content of your affirmations is always up to you. So that's why I'm giving so many different examples, because everyone is potentially looking for something slightly different, trying to fix a slightly different issue from each other, right? Like we're not all going to be looking for the same thing. So whether you create the affirmation in steps or just go straight to the end result, which is usually marriage. That's what I've found with clients and just generally people talking about SP is going to be my husband, my wife, whoever. So you can affirm in steps if that's what works best for you and sounds best to you. Moving on to the final few points. I wouldn't recommend just trying to copy and paste somebody else's affirmations. They might have said a really, really short affirmation or a really, really long affirmation with tons of details and long words and just in a very like eloquent, full way. That might not be how you think or speak, and you might just find it a lot simpler and be like, oh gosh, this is a really long affirmation, not connect with it at all. It's not the type of language, you know, verbiage, the language that you would normally use. That's not how you speak, and that's fine, do it naturally. So don't assume because somebody else worded it a certain way or someone else who manifested their desire that you're also manifesting. Use those words, use those types of affirmations, and that's what they swear by. That's great, but there is no right or wrong. Like I said, it can be short, it can be long. They work either way. You can be very specific or you can use a very general blanket statement. It's what works for you and what feels right to you based on your assumptions, the way you see manifestation and affirmations, just tons of different things. Even just the way you speak as well affects how you're going to word your affirmations, because some of my recommendations will be very different to Sammy Ingram's, for example. And she always says in her videos, like when she recommends affirmations, this is how I speak, you know, I would say it this way. and that's what works for her perfectly. So yeah, don't try and copy and paste somebody else's just because it worked amazingly for them. You want to make sure it does feel natural for you as well. So one of my final few points that I do bring up a lot with my clients, I make sure to balance all my affirmation recommendations out with these, and that is action-based affirmations. So you want to not just be talking about your SP's emotions. You don't just want to say they love me, SP loves me. You can say that a million times a day and it will manifest and it will be shown to you. But that doesn't mean you're guaranteed a relationship with them. They might love you with all their heart and tell you in person or on the phone, I love you, whatever your name is. I love you, Sophie. I love you, Mark. They might say that to you directly. Guess what? That doesn't mean you're going to get them to propose to you, to commit to you. You'll get that, but you also want to add in action-based affirmations, because if you're just saying how they feel, that they want you, they're committed to you, that's amazing, and they will be, but you also want to say what that means. What is that commitment connected to? That they're proposing to you, they're your husband, they're your wife, they're your boyfriend. Because to me, I feel like unless you get very specific and know exactly what result you're working towards, you can get results that it is what you're saying, but it's not what you wanted. And then by the time you've manifested it, you're going to have to add in more affirmations to be like, well, actually, now I want to make sure this happens. So it's better just to focus on the wording when you're creating the affirmations and kind of tweak them a little bit here and there if you feel like they're not as powerful as they should be. So action-based, like taking me on dates, calling me, texting me, telling me they love me all the time, proving their love to me. I love the phrase proving to me, because it means that that person, whatever type of SP you're manifesting for, they're going to have to physically in some way show you that they are giving you whatever result it is. Proving to me they love me, they want me, they're committed to me, they only have ever had eyes for me. Whatever it is that you want to see, add in the phrase proving to me, because then they have to take it and they have to take action, right? So any phrase where it's them having to do or say something is amazing, because that's going to give you the complete 3D evidence that you want to see, the 3D experience that you want. You don't just want them to feel it, you want them to show it. So that's another thing to keep in mind when you're creating your affirmations. Final point, and I can make a separate video on this, I think I might, and that's askformations. So it's literally about asking, putting a question mark. So she's just translating it into a question form. So I actually do this myself when I am looping my affirmations, if they get a little bit tedious, or I've been doing it for an hour, which I don't usually do an hour in one go, but I try and do pretty much more than 1 hour per day. So I will sometimes be like, why am I so wealthy? Why am I so this? Why is... You change it into a question format. So then you're literally asking your subconscious mind, why do I have this? Why does this person treat me this way? Why is my life so perfect? And guess what? Your subconscious mind has to create the answer, has to try and find a reason to answer the question you're thinking of. It'll create visuals and be like, this is why, it'll just kind of answer you. I don't know the full science behind it, but essentially people argue that askformations are really powerful because your mind will create the answer for you. Even if it's like, oh, well, 10 years ago, your SP said this to you when you were, out at a restaurant together. So that's why, that's why he loves you now. That's why she's committed to you now. So your mind will kind of bring up scenarios and potential answers. And it also just flips around it's kind of like a placebo effect. It's like you're asking yourself, why do I have this thing? Like you're basically confirming, I have this thing in my life, this manifestation, but why? How did it come about? If that makes sense. So that's another way you could word your affirmations. Just flip them into a question. Why is the like whatever it is. So it's a really easy way to flip around the wording of your affirmations, spice them up a little bit, keep them fresh, keep your mind focused on them instead of just looping the same sentence a million times over. So yeah, I might do a whole video on askformations, do a little more research into it and talk about my own experiences. But that is it for this video. I hope it was useful and gave you guys some clarity and ideas for your affirmations. Do thumbs up, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Bye!